everyone. Welcome to an episode of the Top Lessons podcast. I am Kathy Inglot, and with me, I have a special guest today. I'm going to introduce him in 2 seconds, but I wanted to just bring everyone to this topic and why we have a special guest. The topic of the day is consistency. And who better not to invite to a topic of consistency than a certified personal trainer? With me is Joel Ramsey, the one, the only. Some of you may know him from his Instagram, from his followings. Some of you will love him and get to know him. So, Joel, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Kathy.
I look forward to our conversation. Yeah. I think consistency is one of those topics where a person whose life mission is to get people healthy and in shape, consistency is your definition. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself, because you are not only a certified personal trainer, I believe you are a certified chef.
Yes.
You are a dad.
Yes.
You are a mentor.
Yes.
You are also a executive director of the A Second You Foundation, and you have a past.
And I have a past. Which
we are definitely not going to shy away from, but we are going to show people that you have overcome a lot, but also you are now an inspiration for so many people. You were recently featured on CNN, and you've been featured multiple times. So we're going to talk about your past, your amazing accomplishments now, and what you do to make people healthy because of consistency. So if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how Joel is the best professional certified trainer right now.
All right. So I'll start with... I'm originally from Boston, Mass. Tough childhood, growing up in the urban community of Roxbury. The household itself was, I was one of 10, a lot of siblings. My mother was a Jamaican immigrant. Father died before I was born. And she chose to use what was the sources that was accessible at the time to provide for us, and it just so happens to be drugs. Mm-hmm. Right, growing up in a community that was riddled with drugs and alcohol and a whole lot of other toxic things. But she was an inspiration to us all, because she even though she was doing things that wasn't deemed like appropriate or right, she did for good reasons. And I followed her footsteps without knowing why she did what she did. And once I understood, that's when I started to make the proper corrections and adjustments and start to get myself together. But that did lead me to doing 17 years in prison, from juvie, state, and federal corrections. I ended up doing that 17 years before I was 34. So I actually did more than half my life in prison before the age of 33. And, when I got my time, right, I didn't blame anyone, because I knew ultimately I had a decision, even though, the resources around me weren't the best or the great. Right, there is a lot of examples and models of people that became successful in these type of situations, right? And so.
But obviously, that's the past.
That's the past.
The present is amazing for you.
Yes, the present is
amazing. You have
amazing.
A beautiful little girl. You have a very successful business. You are an entrepreneur. You are your own boss.
Yes.
CustumFit is your baby. And you have a huge celebrity following. And you are, obviously, for those of you that are aware that many people, when they find a celebrity trainer, you sign an NDA sometimes because you don't want your name to be released in the public. But Joel has many of those people. And he also has people that are willing to share that they are his clients, and they're happy to be your clients and know that you are, in good hands, but also they trust you to get them into shape. you whip their butts. So tell me a little bit about the clients that you bring to the, CustumFit.
Right. The first client that I had that was a celebrity status was a Prabhu Garang, a fashion designer. He actually was Fashion Designer of the Year last year. Shout outs to PG. Laura Kim, right, of Monse and Oscar Delarante. I trained Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things.
Yep.
And also Dorothy Wang, right?
So big names. And those are just a few, by the way. We're not listing all of these people because we would be here for a while. But we have, that's the kind of, clientele that you bring now. And you do every other normal person out there too. So you have lawyers, doctors, judges, business professionals that come to you and say, get me into shape.
Right.
Now, I love working out, but there's also this trend, right? Everyone gets on a New Year's resolution. They show up to the gym for January, and then they fall off the wagon in February. What do you think is that consistency? What lessons do the people that know consistency and have consistency, how are those lessons different than the people that fall off the wagon?
Right. So usually what happens and keeps a person consistent is like reason why they're in the gym, right? If they could stay connected and see that they're in the gym for that purpose, right, that could keep them consistent. Just keeping the end goal in mind. Also, consistency, what I feel is that a lot of people that start off like with these big New Year's resolutions, they start to change too much things too fast. And it becomes like uncomfortable and like boring. Yeah. Right? So you want to just change a little bit at a time. Start off with something that if you enjoy any type of workout exercises, start with the things that you enjoy and slowly start to implement new movements as you get used to and start to enjoy these things, right? So I used to go by the motto, or still do, is like you want to give a client what they want until they trust you enough to give them what you need. Yeah. Give them what they need.
No, I love that. Right? And I think you have said this many times to me before, is you do what you enjoy.
Yes.
If you do that, it's not a working out. It's a nice hobby or a nice side exercise that you could fit into whatever 15 minutes or 20 minutes that you have. Or if not, you go to the gym and you hire you and you're in there, really sweating.
Right.
But at the same time, it's one of those things where I know you say this all the time and you just show up, right? You show up and you put the time in because no one else is going to do it for you.
That's absolutely.
I mean, we do have to touch upon a topic, which is the Ozempic topic, right? Mm-hmm. It is the current fad. We know Ozempic is for people who have a disease. They're mainly for people with diabetes, and we don't know the long-term effects yet. But we've seen this in the 90s and the early 2000s, right? People took diet pills. People took ephedra. Every diet under the sun, right? Atkins, Slim Fast, you name it.
Right.
So this is the current fad. We have a shot you take and you're, losing pounds. But you're not fixing the inside.
Exactly. Not addressing the problem.
What are you telling people to motivate them to say, look, come and work out with me. Do something in the gym because that's the way to a healthier you.
Right. So I usually, when I do to motivate people, you want to let them know like the benefits of what's going to happen once they stay consistent. Right. It's a lot of preventative, right? Yeah. It's more preventative than anything, right? Prevent injuries, because injuries doesn't just happen, right, with the thing that caused you to get injured, right? It's usually it is a buildup of incorrect movements or weaknesses or what have you, right?
Yeah, for those of you that sneeze and pull a muscle, this is the preventative issue we're talking about.
Absolutely. So I know people that step the wrong way and shatter their shin bone or knee or ankle or what have you. And it's just like years of moving incorrectly, of not strengthening certain muscles that cause these things.
I know. I have heard this in many, different physical rehab centers, as everyone always tells you, you need a stronger core. it starts with the core. And you are great at working at the core.
Oh yeah, that's
you are. That is your focus. I know. I've seen you train people, and literally, you start with core.
Core, yeah. So core is like it's responsible for balance.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that's real important, especially when we get older. Like the worst thing an elderly person should worry about is like falling and not getting up.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are commercials.
Yeah, those are
I've
commercials.
fallen and I can't get up.
Exactly. So you want to make sure you have a strong core to be able to keep your balance and use your core in everything you do, every movement.
No, and I really do think, for those of you that may be thinking about, those fast fad shots to lose the weight, you will in many years maybe regret it or not. I'm not a doctor, so my opinions are mine, but I think it's what I say, and you've said this to me many times, it's a stress relief to go to the gym, right? To work out is a stress relief. You come in and you're really, mentally mindful after you're working out, and you're a better person. We all feel better. We just know we have to get to the gym to feel better. And that concept of showing up again. Like, how do we ensure we get there so that we can feel better after?
Right. So showing up is like, it has to be something internal, right? A lot of people, right, even when they spend money on trainers, right, that's them like, internally they know they got to get there and they can't do it themselves, right? So this is them like,
forcing.
Forcing them to get there, spending money, because no one wants to waste money, right? So that gets them in there. And I tell my clients all the time, I would love to train, work with you for the rest of your life or our lives, right? But it's not like realistic. So your time with me, I want to get you fundamentally sound where you're comfortable enough to get to the gym and work out and feel confident that you know what you're doing.
Yeah. And I love it because that's your name, right? Your name is CustumFit. You custom the workout for everyone.
Absolutely.
And you're not just that. Look, I take videos on Instagram and I work out at those videos, but I also know those videos may not be for me, right? It may not be for my goal, may not be for my body type, but I follow them because it's the quick, I can't find you or I can't go work out with you, so I'm going to do the Instagram video.
Right.
But you find someone, when someone comes to you, you customize their workout. You say, what do you want? What's the goal? And you work backwards from there.
Absolutely.
And you're very different because I know there's, professional trainers that will throw everything at you. And you go from 0 to 180 very quickly. Right. You're not that guy. You do it with with methodology behind it. You do it slow, you see the progression, and then you add on all the time.
Right.
Which I think is very different because that's what makes you very good at your job. And you could tell this is why you have a celebrity following. People love the fact that you do this because, I love the trainers where they're like little Energizer bunnies. You look at them and they're doing like 100 burpees. And you're like, what is happening? I'm not that person. I'm like, give me the slow 5 burpees.
Right.
But you do that approach. You do it slow and steady so that A, you prevent injury, but 2, you see what that person likes.
Exactly. So, you have, believe it or not, you have those people that come to the gym that just want to die, right? A good death, right? Yeah. And then you have those that, just want to take it easy, take it slow, right? But there's certain things that you do in a program that'll get you to a goal.
Yeah.
Right? And I just implement those things. And I also take in account, like, what does a person do on a day-to-day basis, how active they are. Because I'm not going to have someone that's sitting all day doing burpees, right? Or anything like that. I want to get a lot of mobility stuff because you want to make sure that you're able to move in a proper range of motion and all these things that we're giving you. And if there's a limitation there, then there's a higher chance of getting injured, right? So I don't do injuries. I only had one client that got injured on my watch, and she pulled a hamstring doing like some lunges or something like that, right? And then from there, it's like, I'm going to make sure that like everyone has like properly warmed up, muscles is lengthened, and which I think we all need a lesson in because warming up is not usually in people's regimen. And I know the older you get, the more you need a warm up.
myself included. But at the same time, I think this is why someone like you is really good, because you don't go from 0 to 180. You do that slow progression. Absolutely. And it really pays off in the long term.
For sure.
So you say this, obviously being a personal trainer, you're in the gym all day. That is your career. You have this amazing role where you're also an executive director of the foundation, where you're setting the stepping stone for others, and you're a mentor. Yes. You have a past, which we covered, but at the same time, other people are in your situation now, and they're trying to say, how do I get out of that circle, that vicious circle of circumstance? How are you, one, taking on this role, and what life lessons do you wish to, profoundly leave on the people that have also been in your shoes, and they're trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel to say, how do I get out of this?
All right. So I'll start answering that question by saying that I came home to a halfway house in Brooklyn 2017 August. I'm originally from Boston, like I said. I had a friend that asked me probably like 18 months before my release date, like, man, what you gonna do? Right? I thought I was gonna come home to be a chef.
Yep.
Right? And he asked me like, all right, where are you going? Right? Because he's like, he know my past. So he's like, man, if you go back to Boston, then the same thing is gonna happen. Right? You should try to see if reach out to your family and see if you have anyone in another city or state. I did that and found my long lost aunt in Brooklyn, New York. So we talked, and she was like, for sure, just, tell me what I need to do. And then we would start the process. So, I did that, and I got the halfway house. I signed up to be a chef. I passed, got my certification, was doing corporate catering and FIDI. Mm-hmm. And then while being in a halfway house, I came across this organization called A Second You Foundation. And they was telling me how, the industry was very lucrative, how if you're in shape, you help people buy what they see, right? So if you're in the shape, people will want to know what you did to get in shape, and if you could, bring them through the same process. So I'm listening, and I'll check it out and see what it is. And, they start talking the numbers. I start watching them, shadowing, seeing how they conduct sessions and things. And I'm like, yeah, this is something I could do. Yeah. They could do it. I know for sure I could do it, right?
Because you need that, right? You need that. I love the comment, the quick phrase, see it, be it.
Yes.
Right? When you know someone did it, you can aspire because you see it, so you're going to be it. And I love that quote, because at the end of the day, I'm sure there's going to be people watching this and say, hey, he has a path. He showed us the formula. Get out of the neighborhood so that you're not constantly in that circumstance. Find people that, support you and love you. And also find someone whose numbers make sense. Right. Because at the end of the day, I think what is the struggle is minimum wage doesn't get people out of their circumstance.
Right.
Maybe you'll start at minimum wage, but you need that hope of how do I get out of that? And you found a profession that gives you that formula to get you out of that circumstance.
Yes. So the founder, Hector Guadalupe, that's what he preached the most. His ideology was like, all right, if a person comes home and you give him income that he is able to live on and kind of grow a family, then chances of him reoffending are slimmer.
For sure.
Right? And this industry kind of provides that. Yeah. Right? And not only that, it also bridges the gap, right? Because we're all human, right? So if you're with someone for an hour every day, and they open up and they're sharing, it kind of builds a connection, builds a bond, and you kind of switch the stigma surrounding felons. Yeah. Right. So I graduated Second U Foundation 2018. I love the organization so much. Like, this is a brotherhood bond that like motivates you. So I decided to give back.
Yeah.
Right. So I used to go to halfway houses, which I came from, right, and telling the guys of this program. And it went from there to me becoming a coach, teaching the material and everything. And then 2 months ago, I was offered the position of executive director, and
that's
I
awesome.
jumped on it.
I love it. I think it's a story that, one, we could write a book on, but two, it's that see it be a moment where someone, is looking for inspiration and they see you. I could see your name on a billboard. CustumFit, here to provide and here to get you healthy and be a mentor to everyone that needs a mentor. So I think one of the things I'm going to touch upon to go back to that consistency point is consistency in the gym is probably just a foundational step of everything we need to do in life. Consistency in work, consistency in any goal that we have, right? And I think one of the inspirational, comments that someone like you, brings to all of us is you didn't give up. It was so easy to go back to Boston, right? And say like, well, I know if I do this, if I do that, I get this, right? It's like, shame on you for repeating the same circle over and over. So the consistency angle, which I think is really important, because whether you're in Wall Street, whether you're, a chef, or whether you're a personal trainer, or whether you're just a mom with 4 kids at home, there's a consistency to what your goals are, and you just need to start. Whatever you do, you just need to start. You need to show up, and you need to do those little days. I have this thing I put on Top Lessons recently where you look at one step at a time, because if you see this whole staircase, you may just retreat, or you may be too afraid, or that fear and anxiety sets in. But if you look at those little steps in front of you and you do one step at a time, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's nothing is too big, because in our heads we make it too big sometimes. But you did it. You did it. You are that formula success story where someone says, "Hey, what can I do?" And I want you to be the see it, be it moment for those that are out there and are in your circumstance. But at the same time, for your daughter, who will one day look back and say, "Who's my dad?" And all she will know is he's this amazing fitness trainer who has a huge following and comes home every day and is, teaching me how to be a better person. But going back to the Top Lessons, this is one of those times where we're going to look at each other and we're going to say, your past doesn't define you, right? We have all a past, some good, some bad, some in between. And I think one of the takeaways is Joel is here to show us that a past is okay. Take the past and show what you could do with it to get out of your past, because your circumstances can be different.
Absolutely.
And what you make each day is up to you. So if you're going to do something, do the better. Don't do the bad. Don't do the worst. Do the better. So on that note, we're going to wrap up. And the one thing I want you all to leave with is, again, the motto of positive stress, the motto of just show up and do what you love. If you want more information, we'll definitely share Joel's contact information, so you could be one of the many list of clients on his repertoire. But at the same time, thank you so much for showing up with me today.
My pleasure.
And for sharing your life lessons. And at the same time, we may want to have you back, because I think we were going to have a great following to this conversation down the road. And I think Dry January is coming. So you may have a lot of people asking questions about like what they need to do and how do they need to get back on that bandwagon and not fall off in February. So on that note, thank you so much.
No problem.
For those of you that will want more information, I promise I will share the information on Joel. And also, thank you for subscribing. And I hope you love the conversation. So give it a like. Thanks so much. See you next time.